because I do play Psylocke a lot, if you know me from when I used to make more Rivals content, there have been numerous points where, like, I'll try to dash into the enemy team and use my ult, and I'll just teleport back to where I was, and then my ult will just be ruined because I didn't actually dash on the server side. Like, the server, it's just been really bad. And I'm not the only person that feels this way either. And luckily, since I've upgraded my PC, I have a 5070 Ti and an i7 14700K with, like, 32 gigs of RAM, and now I get consistently over 160 to 200 frames in the game. So really, frame drops aren't really much of an issue for me anymore, but that's because I have a fucking $1,800 PC. But my old PC wasn't even bad. Like, I had an i9 9900K and a 3070. That shit can run most games with really good frames. So the fact that my FPS would be between, 90 and 160 on that PC build, that was genuinely insane. And God help anyone who has even worse PC specs than that, especially nowadays with how much RAM costs. Like, Jesus Christ, the RAM prices nowadays, it is like $300 for fucking, like, 32 gigs of DDR5 RAM. I got so lucky that I built my PC like a couple months ago before this shit started happening. I got my RAM sticks for not that much, but dude, if I had to spend $300 on some RAM for like a PC build nowadays, you got me fucked up, like that ass. It genuinely costs more for like 32 gigabytes of RAM right now than it does to buy like a PS4. But I remember back in the day, like, Fortnite, when I was playing that, I had an RTX 2060 and an i5 9600K, and I could pull like easily 160 to 200 FPS on that PC because Fortnite was optimized really well. But this game, Rivals, cannot figure this shit out. Like, they just don't know what to do. I don't even know what it's like for console players. Like, if y'all are dropping below 60 FPS, let me know. I don't play on a console, but I would imagine that you guys probably do drop below 60 FPS from time to time. And another thing that NetEase can't seem to figure out is the balancing. Can someone please explain to me when any of these characters weren't meta or one of the best in their role? No? Oh, I wonder why you can't do that, because they've been this way since the birth of the game. And another thing, with a lot of characters in this game, I already made a video talking about this before, but some of the characters in this game are just really poorly designed. And that doesn't mean that they're not fun to play, like Spider-Man and Black Panther and Iron Fist. These are characters that are fun to play, but they're not well designed in terms of, like, playing against them. So when NetEase buffs them or nerfs them, they can either go from really dog shit to completely busted, or from completely busted to just mid or dog shit. Human Torch, another good example. Not even too long ago, Human Torch was a fucking server admin character for 2 seasons straight. Now, that character is a joke. Like, if I'm playing against Human Torch, he's not hard to deal with. And like, I don't even care if some of these characters are really good. Like, again, I'm someone who thinks Psylocke is a really solid character. People say she's, like, extraordinarily broken. Like, nah, she's really good. I wouldn't say Psylocke is broken. Hela, maybe Hela's a little bit broken nowadays. I think Hela is in a decent spot right now. But it's beside the point. Like, I don't mind if some of these characters are really good. The problem, and the thing that I do mind, though, is that these characters have been good for so long, but other characters like these have been dog shit for so long. And, maybe some of these characters aren't complete dog shit. Like, maybe Magic is, like, C tier, or, like, just some characters here are, like, mid, but none of them, except for Iron Fist in Season 2, or just literally Season 2, like, after Season 2.5, you just pass. And I am talking about entire Evo, but regardless. The absolute worst thing that has been meta, and it's been this way for numerous seasons at this point, is triple support. And the devs know that people fucking hate this shit. It is so boring to play against triple support. And what did the devs do for Season 5.5? Well, they buffed triple support even harder. What the fuck is this piece of shit? Like, no joke, but this is without a doubt the single worst patch they have ever released. Like, please explain the logic behind giving Ultron and Luna these buffs, and then they're like, oh yeah, don't worry, we made Gambit Invisible Woman hold 200 more colon. I'm like, okay, so you just fucking, not even a slap on the wrist, you just blew them. Like that, you just breathed on them. You didn't do anything. You know what people do care about with Invisible Woman? The fact that she has so much fucking utility, and then you went ahead and gave her a shield that she can place on herself that makes her fucking basically immortal against any melee character, and extraordinarily hard to kill with even, characters like Phoenix, Hela, or Psylocke. Like, I don't understand the logic behind these buffs when you know how broken supports already are in the game right now, and how many people have been complaining about it. Like, you now have 7 support characters in this game that are just, like, completely undiveable in double stick. And most of them also happen to be, like, the best supports in the game, and they become even more undiveable when you throw triple support in the mix. And even, like, diving aside, like, again, even if I'm playing, like, Hela, Namor, or Phoenix, or Psylocke, it's like, if you don't hit every single shot and, consistently headshot these characters, they're never dying, like, literally ever. And that's assuming that you're playing against competent players. Playing triple support isn't just gonna immediately win you. It is a crush for people that aren't playing that well, and it's a crush that works damn good. But you still do need to have some level of competence to actually win the top. But, like, besides the point, the reason they've given characters like Invis, Gambit, Rocket, Loki, Jeff, and now Luna such absurd survivability is because of the completely dog-shit players not being able to handle dive. But that just completely misses the point of a team-based game, because if your team isn't helping you as a support, I'm sorry, but you should be dying to this dive. Like, if the other team has a coordinated dive, and they're shitting on you because you're not coordinated, you should be losing. Like, just simply put. But now, most of the supports don't even need help with dive. So when they do get help, it's just like, they're just way too fucking OP. Like, they're essentially immortal. And it's just so boring to play against. Like, I just cannot comprehend the logic behind so many balance changes that NetEase makes. I can't comprehend how the matchmaking in this game is this bad still. I can't comprehend how the performance for the game is so bad. Like, there's just so many things I don't understand. And I'm not saying that, fixing matchmaking or balancing is a super easy job, but some of this shit is a fucking layup. Like, come on, man. And they still managed to miss wide open. Like, how do you see so many people complaining about triple support and then you go and buff it? And then you say shit like, Luna's never reading the allegations now, is she? It's like, what are you... Is this serious? They're trolling. You're trolling me, that like, there is levels to how bad balancing and matchmaking can be in a game. And over the course of this game's lifespan, I feel like NetEase hasn't even really attempted to get, like, to a grounding where, like, even 50% of the player base is happy. And I'm sorry, but that's achievable. Like, it really is. They're never going to make everybody. They can make most, if not, at least 60 to 50% of the player base happy. And this isn't even to say that this game is bad, because when I'm playing this game casually, it actually becomes a lot of fun. The gameplay for this game is still really fun, and it has a lot of depth. The content output is amazing, but this game has literally zero competitive integrity whatsoever. And it makes no sense to me, because they very clearly care about the competitive side of the game, and they know it's very alive. Like, they've dumped millions of dollars into the esports scene for this game, but they also just seem like they don't give a fuck about it at the same time, with the major issues that are in the game that so many people have brought up that, again, should not be hard to at least mitigate. Like, fixing is one thing, but mitigating, that's another thing. And when I see people glaze this motherfucker Guang Guang every time he shows his face on the screen, it's like, oh, we love you, Guang Guang. It's like, what do you love? What is there to love? And I see people be like, oh, Rivals should be considered for Game of the Year. It's like, what has Rivals done to even get close to that? I'm just like, what the fuck are y'all smoking? Even at a casual level, which is what I would say the best way to play Marvel Rivals is, I can't look at that game and be like, yeah, that's right now, that's Game of the Year. Maybe in, like, Season 1 and Season 0, I would have, had it at that. But now, fuck no. Like, no. But yeah, this is really all I have to say in this video. I do want to preface that I don't hate this game, and can still have a lot of fun playing it, especially when I'm not solo queuing. But at the same time, it's genuinely not possible for me to take this game seriously anymore. Like, really, anytime NetEase comes out with a new patch, I'm just like, oh, wonder what bullshit they're gonna pull this time. It's just like, how am I supposed to even remotely care about the competitive side of this game? And unless NetEase locks in and at least mitigates some of these issues that me and many other people have brought up, then I'm gonna feel the same way. But I thank you all for listening to me yap. Let me know what you think in the comments. I hope you all enjoyed the video. I have something really special planned. If you have made it this far in the video, I have something really special that I'm about to reveal that I've been working on for the past few weeks. But yeah, I hope you all enjoyed. Thank you for watching again, and yeah. This video is sponsored by FlexiSpot. They were kind enough to send me over their FlexiSpot Chrome Pair electric standing desk, and as someone who does a lot of work from home, especially on my computer, I wanted a standing desk really bad, and FlexiSpot was one of the brands I was actually looking at before I even got sponsored by them. It's actually pretty convenient timing. Sitting down for long periods of time can be really shameful on your back, so it is really helpful when you don't have to disrupt your workflow and you can just stand up and keep working.
Today, evidence and why we have more bombshell evidence of Donald Trump's unprecedented, staggering corruption. And this week is shocking Wall Street insiders and government watchdogs. But before we unpack all this, if you end up liking this video and you want to support the channel, please be sure to hit the like, subscribe, and alert. So, alright folks, Bloomberg is the one breaking the story here. Trump's more than 3,703 Donald Trump. Take a look at this article. Context. Right? Unusual whales on Twitter says, take a look at Trump's. You can see a large majority of the millions traded will do something new here, and especially after the Obama war. Donald Trump is out trade in the as I, as well as Matt Stoller, tweeted it, Trump is actually doing everything the right pretended Nancy Pelosi did, especially inside trade. Former Republican supporter, former husband of Kellyanne Conway, George Conway, now running for Democrat in his district, said, a president's trading of securities for his personal account can in no way be argued to constitute activity that falls within the outer perimeter of his official responsibilities. If it's based on inside information used in violation of his fiduciary responsibilities, it is brazen criminal conduct, and he would not be immune from prosecution for that criminal conduct, even under the Supreme Court's 2024 decision in his favor in the January 6th case. In other words, George Conway, a lawyer, is making the case that what Trump is likely to have done here could expose him to criminal liability even around the Trump's immunity decision, which protected him from criminal prosecution and effectively gave the president to get us to a free card, not just Trump, but all past presidents and future presidents. Conway is saying, even here, I think the Supreme Court would be hard-pressed to protect him. Of course, he never covered the Supreme Court. And insider trading is actually an official duty of the President of the United States, as long as it's public. So this is not good and will likely, be the subject of controversial pardons, right? Trump might try to pardon himself. Trump may try to get J.D. Vance to pardon. Who knows, right? Might resign from his presidency 5 minutes before leaving office. J.D. Vance becomes president. He pardons Trump. Who knows what will happen? Again, the kids in the article is specific because of drop site news. So from January 2025 to April 26, Donald Trump's investment portfolio executes a new financial transaction roughly every 945 seconds. Trading this money comes out. Trump disclosed more than 3,000 transactions in the first quarter of 2026 alone, a dramatic surge from the relatively low volume of trading activity reported throughout 2025. The cumulative value of the transactions reportedly ranges between $220 million and $750 million. Trump's filings also missed the standard 45-day federal disclosure deadline, triggering late fees. Of course, ethics disclosure businesses rights. They look for, the commoners, not the commoners. Trump Organization and the White House denying conflict. Assets are held in a trust managed by Trump's Bill. Not a blind trust. A trust managed by Trump. And traded through automated discretionary accounts overseen by independent third parties. By the way, this is trending all over the place. Look up Trump 3,700 for Trump insider trading. It's all over the place. As a matter of fact, let's hear a bit from Bloomberg.
We are looking at this amount of trades, over 3,700. Typically, you wouldn't see that for someone's personal account, even though it is, of course, President Donald Trump's. Exactly.
The part that flagged to me was that that's like over 40 per day.
And also, even if you include just trading days, it's even higher than that, probably in the 50s, 60s. And so when you're talking to people who are running RIAs, and I want to be clear here, because we don't know exactly behind this, even if it is an RIA that's making those transactions, because the Trump organization said that they have an independent third party that's managing this and that it is an automated process. But when you're speaking with people who are managing, especially decades on Wall Street, or even high net worth individuals, you normally don't see that frequency and that type of volume of transactions. Even just in a Twitter alone, typically they have things set in place to where you wouldn't have to make that many transactions because the portfolio seems to be more bulletproof, despite what happens if there are gyrations in financial markets.
We think of this for. Read a statement here from the White House. They dismissed questions about potential conflicts. David Engel saying Trump only acts in the best interest of the American public. He added there are no conflicts of interest.
The guy reading that can't even keep a straight face. He has to look down because he's smiling because he knows it's just horseshit and totally unpersuasive.
The spokesperson with the Trump organization saying the president's holdings are independently managed, as you mentioned, by a third-party financial institution that control over all of these investment decisions, with trades executed through automated processes. That aside, what kind of trades did we see here? We mentioned those tech companies at the top.
So again, they're trying not to laugh. They find this totally unconvincing.
Without in terms of what was actually traded.
Well, these are typically companies that the Trump administration is well known to have business dealings with, especially on the back of his visit in Beijing, especially with NVIDIA, is obviously listed in here, as well as Meta, Microsoft, Amazon, as well as you see other things with Costco and Dollar Tree. When you're looking at this,
just shameless sneaky corruption. Again, we'll look at the article in just a second. We actually have two that I want to look at, but I just want to see more about the public reaction to this. New financial disclosures show Trump or his advisors made more than 3,700 trades in the first quarter of 2026. The filings reveal heavy trading in major firms, averaging more than 40 trades a day. The disclosures provide conflicts of interest concerns because Trump still owns a vast business empire and did not place his assets in foreign trust. It's not. Previous presidents, including George H.W. Bush and Bill Clinton, used foreign trust, while Barack Obama and Joe Biden avoided connected stock trading while also from Donald Trump. Elizabeth Warren saying more than 3,700 trades. Trump's more focused on the stock portfolios and mostly costs to get these through. Trending everywhere. Donald Trump may be the best trader on Wall Street right now. I'm sure he would be, given his position. Okay, let's look at the articles itself. So we'll start with Bloomberg. Takeaways: Donald Trump played financial disclosure, showed that years investment advisors made the 2007 trade quarter involved major companies that have dealings with business transactions, which include purchases and sales of ranges. Concerns and questions about the dollar to trade. Disclosure for criticism defined from someone else. One expert saying the trading volume is quote, and another saying they are quote baffled. Worry totaling tens of millions of dollars involved in the companies that have dealings with the administration. The actions spelled out more than 100 pages of documents filed Thursday with the U.S. Office of Government Ethics was purchases and sales in broad ranges, making it hard to calculate the exact volume found in the volume. The sales period stands out as much as the potential dollar value. Quote, this is an insane Matt Tuttle, chief executive officer of Software Tuttle Capital Management, in an interview, adding that it looks more like something done by quote a hedge fund in massive outward trades that buys and shorts securities than a personal account. First quarter, Trump bought at least $1 million each in companies including NVIDIA, Oracle, Microsoft, Boeing, Costco, according to documents. Other trades involve eBay, Abbott Laboratories, Uber Technologies, AT&T, and discount dollar store Dollar Tree. The disclosure reignites conflicts of interest. Swallowed Trump's office. Critics have regularly accused him of mixing his official duties with his business interests. Unlike his predecessor, Trump didn't divest or move his assets into a blind trust with an independent receiver. His sprawling business empire is managed by two of his sons and operates in several areas that intersect with presidential policy. At the same time, Trump's son-in-law, Jared Kushner, helped manage billions of dollars in investments in Qatar, Saudi Arabia, and the United Arab Emirates, while simultaneously serving as a volunteer envoy for the president on issues affecting the war in Iran and Yemen. Staggering conflicts of interest and corruption, unprecedented. Imagine Hunter Biden being in that position. Imagine how the White House reacts. The White House can submit questions about it. If you only act in the best interest of the United there are no conflicts. Like, not persuasive at all, just saying no. Hey, look at all this evidence. We have so much evidence here of like corruption and conflicts of interest. What do you say about that? I'd say, I say, no, you. I say, your mom had conflicts of interest. That is, now, that would have been more substantive than the responsibility. Not, here's why it's not. It affects why it's no, not allowed. Doesn't matter how much evidence you have of the left. Let's see, a spokesperson for the Trump organization earlier said that Trump holdings are managed by third-party financial institutions who control over all investment decisions, trades executed through automated processes. Trump and his family members and his company played no role in making the transactions, the spokesperson said. They received no advance notice of trading activity, providing no input. Okay. The reported trading volume exceeds anything Trump has previously reported. The fourth quarter of last year contained 389 transactions, mostly purchases that, although he also lost again before that. Trump's disclosures for questions on some on Wall Street will express surprise. Volume, baffled, said Eric Hilton, Guyton, president and managing director at the Wealth Alliance. Within the 40 plus years of my time on Wall Street, this is a usual amount of straight pricing. And you have multiple ones corroborating. This is absurd, this is insane, this is unusual. And then, again, it goes into specifics about how Netflix, Paramount battled to acquire Warner Bros. Discovery Incorporated in a months-long fight with both suitors, raising potential antitrust concerns, made investments related to all three parties. And they had active direct business before it was raised. But all of this raises questions that you'd rather not raise as a president. So people are now asking, why is he buying NVIDIA and other companies now? You're the president, you know everything. The stock you buy, that's huge, that's one. And previous presidents divested assets, took other steps to avoid conflicts of interest by way of law trust. Federal law only requires office holders to report transactions involving securities after the passage of the Stock Act of 2012, which frankly exposure requirements to protect different officials. Neither former President Obama nor President Biden traded stocks and bonds in office. The first president who triggered the disclosure requirements. Federal ethics law requires officials to report trades no later than 45 days after it's made. Both of Trump's filings missed that deadline. It doesn't give a damn about it. NBC also has an article that's worth taking a look at here. If I can provide it. Let's see. NBC News senior national political reporter Jonathan Allen and Don Fox, former acting director and general counsel of the U.S. Government Office of Government Ethics, don't need to press now to discuss new scrutiny that the White House is facing after Trump revealed hundreds of millions of dollars in stock purchases and financial transactions. Again, he says that they are, quote, completely unprecedented. It's a 10-minute clip. I thought it was like a full-on article. It looks like I linked the wrong one, so we're not going to go through the full clip itself. But the direct quote is completely unprecedented. Folks, the evidence is mounting for each past day that Donald Trump is the most shamelessly, unprecedentedly, staggeringly corrupt president in American history at the same time that he's actively screwing you and your loved ones over with his terrible domestic policy. To piss you off, to piss your loved ones off. It doesn't matter if you voted for Trump, voted against Trump, you didn't vote at all. All of you should be angry because he's already wealthy and privileged and he's actively, aggressively trying to hoard that wealth. Very often using taxpayer dollars, taxpayer resources to do it while actively screwing you over. It is the worst case scenario in an instance of corruption. This is infinitely worse than any corrupt president we've ever had. So there should be political consequences for this in November. November 6th or November 28th. You should vote out every damn Republican that they will all have to stop this. Chosen not to. Vote them all out. Create a blue tsunami. Give the Democratic Party super majorities, if and when possible, and let's demand that the Republican Party, the Democratic Party, not just punish Trump and Republican corruption, but create reforms that would prevent this sort of thing from ever being anything in the Congress. Day that ends in Y, which means we have more bombshell evidence of Donald Trump's unprecedented, staggering corruption. And this one is shocking Wall Street insiders and government watchdogs. But before we unpack all that, at the end of liking this video and you want to support the channel, please be sure to hit the like, subscribe, and alert bell before we go. All right, folks, Bloomberg is really the one breaking the story here. Trump's more than 3,700 trades astonished Wall Street. Sorry. Some more, context, right? Some overview, right? Unusual Whales on Twitter says, take a look at Trump's trades. You can see a large majority of the millions traded were recently in the year, and especially after the Obama. schools down in explosive thousands trades in the first quarter of 6. As well as Matt Stoller notes, and I retweeted it, Trump is actually doing everything the right pretended Nancy Pelosi did, respectively, inside the raid. Former Republican supporters, former husbands of Kellyanne Conway, Jordan, who's now running as a Democrat in one of New York's districts, said, "A president's trading of securities for his personal account can in no way be argued to constitute activity that falls within the county perimeter of his responsibilities. If it's based on inside information due to violation of fiduciary responsibilities, it is brazen criminal conduct and he did not be immune from prosecution of that criminal conduct even under the Supreme Court's 2024 decision in his favor in the January 6th case." In other words, George Conway, a lawyer, is making the case that what Trump is likely to have done here is exposing criminal liability even around the Trump immunity decision, which protected him immensely from criminal prosecution and effectively gave the president to get a free card, not just Trump, but all past presidents and future presidents. Conway is saying, even here, I think the Supreme Court would be hard-pressed to protect this. Of course, you can't republic the Supreme Court. If I got decided to exactly the official duty of the President of the United States, as long as it helps. So this is not good, and it's likely to be the subject of controversial pardons, right? Trump might try to pardon himself. They try to get J.D. Vance to pardon. No. Resigning the presidency 5 minutes before leaving office, J.D. Vance becomes president, he pardons Trump. Who knows what? Again, we'll get to the article, its specifics in just a moment. Rob Site News says from January 2025 to early April 2026, Donald Trump's investment portfolio executed a new financial transaction roughly every 9 minutes and 45 seconds during trading hours, according to the Financial Times analysis of federal disclosure. Trump disclosed more than 3,700 transactions alone, a dramatic surge in the relatively low volume trading activity reported throughout time. The cumulative of the transactions reportedly ranges from $20 million to $70 million. Trump's filings also missed the standard 45-day federal disclosure deadline, triggering flavorful reviews. For its ethics disclosures, those are for those are for, plebs. Those are for, the commoners, not for Donald Trump. The Trump Organization and White House denied assets are held in trust managed by Trump Stoller. Not blind trust managed by Trump Stoller. And traded through automated discretionary accounts overseen by individuals. Third-party belief. By the way, that's from 2007. The Trump inside the trade, which is all really place. Matter of fact, let's hear a bit from Bloomberg.
When you're looking at this amount of trades, over 3,700, typically you wouldn't see that for someone's personal account, even though it is, of course, President Donald Trump. Exactly. Part of my team, but that's like over 40 per day. Of course, if you can include just trading days, higher than that, possibly 50s, 60s. And so when you're talking to people who are running RAs, let's be clear here, because you don't know exactly behind this, even if it is an RA that was making those transactions, because the Trump Organization said that they have an independent third party that's managing this and that it is an automated process. But when you're speaking with people who are managing money, especially decades on Wall Street, for even high net worth individuals, you normally don't see that frequency and that type of
It's a ship. Those flashes of light, those words engines. It's nothing like any.
You've been living under a rock this week. You've been missing out. This has been the craziest week in sports cards I can remember in a long time. And I'm going to tell you everything that happened. I'm also going to tell you how I failed you guys. First off, when I kicked off this no PSA make boycott, I actually underestimated the power of the PCG parabolic curve that we are in right now. We are in absolute final acceleration of modern Pokemon to the point where, people are getting injured, there's fraud everywhere, and it's just crazy. And I probably should have aligned myself with more Pokemon influencers. They are really running the ship right now in terms of what's getting just bombarded with grading. So even if I slowed down sports cards by 30, 40%, it probably didn't matter in the long run. However, was successful in many other ways that I am quite proud of, but we still are not done with it. First off, I have become such a squeaky wheel in terms of views, especially on Instagram here, about serious issues like lawsuits with PSA and donating cards to charity that Nat Turner has officially blocked me everywhere. And it's sad because I would have preferred engagement around these topics in this month rather than just blocking, but I can totally understand why he may be annoyed. And this is the proper strategy. PR is to block me, stop me, and eventually I'll take people away. The problem is, it's not going to work with me because I am used to being on the other side, piercing these strategies. So, this channel, like just next week, I'm planning to sit down and research and analyze.
You okay?
It's told me some very wild things.
What's wrong, Boo?
It's going to cause noise. They're not going away. I'll put
You said what?
every one of these issues if I have to. I don't have to make it
My phone was
It's my-
dead.
Lately, the dive community and multiple finals has been struggling. I've journeyed far and wide to try and find good examples of my teachings being implemented.
So I'm not hard back on. I'm sitting back with my supports and waiting and stuff like that. So even though I want to quote unquote back to
So I just called to make sure you was alright.
playing kind of defensively.
I was so disappointed.
He's largely.
Which cap is this, bro? Whose cap is this? It's nice, I don't know. Nice.
Why is everything a stun? Why does it have to stun me?
30 seconds before you attack. Get ready.
He's jumping on the spot, but I can't knock him out, bro. He's all doing that stuff perfect, I can tell you that. Man, this guy's a little feet. You don't got a team with the plant going.
The battle starts in 5,
No!
4,
Funny night!
2, 1.
Name 3 things I did wrong that game. Other than carry my plant team.
Vehicle to its destination.
You had 23 deaths? Yeah, but I had more kills than 23 deaths. Okay, since you asked, I'm not gonna lie, like you, I have a really big fat crush on you. And every day you go live, it's starting to touch my plant and quiver because you're so hot. My name is Sniper, and I've had a crush on you since you started to go live, ever since you started playing Marvel Rivals. And in all honesty, I've always just really liked the way you look, thoughts.
We are only given so many chances to shine. My armor's got a lock on a bogey. The world tree lies ahead. My aim is true. My strength is with you. The enemy approaches.
You're halfway. Keep going.
Really? I have returned from Dejalia.
That's why I try to block it out, because the world fucked up. We can't act like we don't know that, and we can't change it, so why we just gotta just know that it's fucked up. And we just gotta try to just not let nothing bother us, like, just because they fucked up and they say mean shit to me, don't mean I gotta be trash too. I'm not gonna let no fuck nigga turn me into a fuck nigga. Gotta be yourself. You can't find the heel the dog. Niggas be me no matter what y'all do. I'ma still do my thing.
You're halfway there, station.
Don't mess with the amazing Spider-Man! Don't mess with the amazing Spider-Man!
Double kill.
My ancestors are watching.
Almost there. Turn now.
Tremble before blast! Tremble before blast! Blast! Grace us with victory!
This is real fire!
Lesson learned.
Vehicle reached the checkpoint. Keep up the momentum.
Take this loser out, would you?
My strength is renewed.
Those guys are about to shoot at us.
Another epic victory. Big
My strength is renewed.